What's happening? Adam Drake here, and today I have a new product from Flashpoint RC. Part number is FP2158, and it is the Flashpoint air filter oil. So I normally use the Flashpoint pre-oiled filters. They make them in many different styles. They make a style that's for low C, hot bodies, Associated Techno, and I believe Serpent. They also make two different styles for the Mugen, so the new MBX8R foam and also the kind of older school oval Mugen foam. So those are sold in 4-packs, but if for some reason they're out of stock or whatever filters you use, if they're not pre-oiled, again, Flashpoint now has a air filter oil that's available now. I'm going to go through and just quickly show you how I oil the filters. So most of the filters are going to be a 2-stage element. So I like to pull the filters apart just to make sure you're able to get the oil all the way through both elements. It's super important to make sure the oil is coated evenly throughout both the inner and the outer portions of the foam. And if you don't separate the elements, it is maybe a little bit easier, but you run kind of the risk or the chance of not being able to coat both inner and outer element. So you don't really need a ton of oil. You just want to do kind of a thin coat of oil. I start by oiling the two ends, just because those are the two ends that end up sealing the housing. And then I'll just go through and just kind of apply a bit of oil. And then I'll drop this in the bag and then just repeat that for these other 3 pieces. Again, you can always add more oil once we get it in the bag and we kind of work the oil around in the foam. But to start, I like to just get kind of a light coat kind of equally across all the pieces of the foam. Can be a little messy, and this is why I choose to use the Flashpoint pre-oiled filters. That way you don't have to kind of make as much of a mess. I'll go ahead and get the ends here. And then from there, just go ahead and kind of work that oil around in the bag. Again, trying to make sure we get the foam equally saturated with the oil. And you can see I had not a ton of oil, but then once you start to work the foam around, it kind of spreads out and coats the foam. You can see a few spots where you could use a little bit more oil. So you can just kind of squirt oil into the bag if you want. It's a little bit cleaner that way. We'll go ahead and do that. It's better to have a little bit too much oil or to coat the filters a little bit too much, because you can always wring them out with a blue paper towel. Because again, the oil is what's really helping protect your engine and making sure dust doesn't get through the foam elements. So we'll just repeat that process, working the oil around, and then we'll just kind of look and check. Still a couple little spots, so I'm going to apply just a little bit more oil into the bag. And then again, continue to kind of work that around. And then once you have a really like equal or clean kind of consistency look in the foam, what I'll do is I'll just take and put the inner element into the outer foam element. Do the same with the second one. And then again, I'll work it around more, just making sure that you have a really even consistency and look with the foam. And I'll pull this out. You can look at it and see it. It's super consistent as far as the blue coloring. These foams are a little bit older, so they're kind of yellowish, so it almost looks a little bit green, but the oil is blue. And then before I put this filter onto the housing, like I said, I'll just take a blue shop towel, fold it up, and just kind of squeeze to make sure any excess oil is squeezed out of the filter. Again, more oil is better than not enough, but if you have too much oil, it can cause the filter to kind of get caked up and clogged up much quicker. So you want to just make sure you have enough oil to stop and protect the dust from getting through it without fully clogging the filter. So again, from Flashpoint, part number is 2158, and it's available now.